Okie dokie, gentlemen. Are we all here ready to fucking go? I asked you all a question! As I reveal my giant monkey! That's not as funny as you thought it was, boy!
God, I thought he meant penis!
I swear, the only thing I hate more than weaklings. Hey, I'm speaking, soldier! Don't fucking speak unless you're smoking fucking dirt! What we're gonna do is we're gonna flare with
The talk show at the end of the week.
Space is big.
Star Citizen Base.
It's really big.
Round Table.
And welcome, hello everybody, to the Star Citizen Base Roundtable here on the Base Radio, as always here on Sunday, where we just talk, Star Citizen all for 2 hours long. Like what the hell, 2 hours. But we do take those short breaks, thank God, so we can calm the hell down after all this discussion. And we do it with our little team, as usual. Me, Rellim, the only. You have Gentile below me. And our special guest today.
Hello there. Illuminated like the sun.
What do you call yourself?
Like in a fucking tanning booth.
Boom! Hello, everybody. I am on fire.
What do you call yourself? DG?
I don't normally call myself anything. But DG is easier, I think, off the tongue.
Then whatever.
It's short for?
It's short for DaGaimez. It was a guy I used to watch on YouTube called Athene. He was made some really cool videos, and they had this little bit where they started talking about like games, and they would say games, all the time. So I righteously stole it from them. I was like, you know what? This is great. This is great. I'm going to expand upon this. And they blessed me. They were like, hey, cool. Go with it. Run with it. And then started making videos. 2015, when one of my friends had said, hey, have you seen Star Citizen? And I was like, what is that? Like, what's Star Citizen? And that's kind of when it started for me for Star Citizen. And it was game over for most other games.
So you are like a content creator?
Yes, I started very early before my gaming channel. I was making vlogs. This is heavy. This is going to be a little heavy for everybody in the audience. But my wife passed away when I was 28. And I have 2 kids, so I was like, hey, somebody had mentioned to me, hey, why don't you get a video camera? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And instead of writing a journal or something, they said, you should just get a video camera and express yourself on the camera. And I was like,
it's like therapy.
Yeah, right. And I was like, this is bullshit, But I was talking to this. She was a really very beautiful psychologist that I ended up meeting on this game that I will never go back to. That I'm actually embarrassed to admit. Second Life. I was playing this game. Right. I heard it on the radio. Like 2006. I heard it on the radio. I'm like, what's this shit? Or 2000 somewhere. And I'm like, what is this shit? And then of course, my wife passed away. A year of I'm lonely, and I got kids, and I like games. Let me try it out. So I tried it, and I met this girl. She ended up being a psychiatrist from Canada. God knows who she really was. But anyway, she told me this. She said, you need to get yourself a camera to profess your feelings on the camera. And I was like, whatever, And then I started doing it. And I was like, well, this is actually this is working. This is great. And I started a vlog channel and had my kids on it, and it was really a positive experience. And then in 2015, that was kind of when the kids were getting older, Dad, get your camera out of my face. I still like to create. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go back to a channel I'd created a long time ago. I'm going to go back to this DaGaimez channel, and I'm going to try it out. And quite literally, I had made some videos before that didn't do that great. And then I stumbled upon Star Citizen, and just like any other game, I'm super critical because I grew up 90s gaming. and you know, like I just have like an affinity towards space simulators, and I have an affinity towards first-person shooters. I've always like those genres of games are the types of games that I like. And when I hit like Wing Commander, I was like hooked. I remember having to like upgrade your video card, 256 megabytes, and it was a huge deal, like 256 megabytes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is cool. And I kind of saw the same thing happening once I got involved with Star Citizen. I was like, Chris is kind of pushing the envelope on graphics the same way he was doing in the 90s that he's doing like now and like fast forward. So like everybody's bitching like, oh, I got to have these amazing graphics cards to play this game. But it was the same conversation that was going on in like 92, 93-ish, you know, 94 on the personal computers when like he did it before. So like I think it's kind of like interesting that I think Chris in a way like pushes kind of technology forward, even though sometimes it doesn't want to. I feel like sometimes technology is just like holding back from the people that are just like go, you know, just like go into it, like Elon Musk, like people that are just like make the decision and go. And
you can't innovate unless you take the risks.
The risk.
Yeah,
and there's not a lot of risk takers anymore. Like, I mean, there's really not a lot of risk takers anymore. And I'm glad to see like an Elon Musk, and I'm glad to see, you know, I'm the same way with when it comes to like gaming and with creating. Like, I like to do things that make people think a little bit deeper than just like regurgitating the Around the Verse episodes. You know, like if you want the updates and stuff, I would go to Around the Verse. If you want to talk and you want to have like, somebody's following me.
Stalkers, you got stalkers.
What is this? I got something set up that. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. I'm shutting my OBS down. Apologies. I'm like, why am I getting sounds? My OBS was on. My apologies. But I heard my music, my alert, and I'm like, why am I hearing my alert? So anyhow, I'm talking way too much. Thank you.
Well,
technically you're not talking way too much because this is your moment to spotlight yourself and sell your shit on the base radio.
I don't like to promote. I know, but I'm not like I don't like to promote. I do like to talk about, you know, the origins of people's, like, you know, like I think it's great that you guys are like on episode. You're past the hundreds now, so that's pretty cool. And I've known of you for a very long time, and I've listened to a couple shows here and there. So it's kind of cool to be with you guys, like talking with you. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So I remember, I don't know how long ago, it has been a little while now, when your YouTube channel wasn't all that big. There was well under 1,000 subscribers, and it really wasn't that long ago. And now I think I looked and you were at pushing almost 8,000 now.
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit 10. Like I'm thinking hopefully this year I can get 10. And I really like to do it. So I'm like really passionate about like bringing people into community. Like I'm really about community vibe.
And you don't focus solely on Star Citizen?
No, I'm a gamer. Like I'm like, I should, because I love Star Citizen that much. But you know, just like any other game, like I'm super critical about the mechanics to the game, and then like I'm also critical about like design. Like I love this. I love Star Citizen now because it's at a stage where it's you know, it's gone through, I think, the birth pangs. I think we're kind of like at that like prepubescent teenager phase with Star Citizen, and like I'm pushing for it to be an adult. So like what I like to do with Star Citizen is, you know, like I like to talk serious about it. Like I get a lot of heat sometimes on my channel, like if I say something that's not pure Star Citizen 100% positive, go Star Citizen, let me jump up and like have a little tinkle out the side of my mouth. Like if I'm not super positive about it, then, you know, like watch out. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to worry about you know, having to like worry about that. Like I don't want yeah, I'm so happy that you guys aren't. Like I don't want to have like this thing where like I got to aspire to like everybody's oh, good job, like, you know, you said the right things, you know, like I'm not that type of guy. It's like I'm just gonna call it like I see it. And a lot of times like people get pissed. Like it's great. I love it. Like I think this might sound a little strange, but like I love being trolled. So if you're listening right now, like I love that those comments of people crawling out the woodwork and like being like, and I'm like, oh wow, this is great. Like I can't wait for the next one. Like,
well, we've come to realize over the years, you know, that no one is beyond reproach, and no one makes 100% of the right decisions 100% of the time. And CIG is no different than anyone else. So when there's shit, when there's bullshit, you got to call bullshit. And when things are good, you got to, you know.
Right. You just gotta, it's the truth, you know, it's just like what it is. Right now, I'm really worried about, so interestingly enough, like I like to make videos that are about talking about the design, you know, like we were talking about survival mechanics, survival mechanics within Star Citizen very early on, before anybody else was talking about it. We were talking about like weather systems. We were talking about, you know, like, is this going to be actually like a planet that is revolving around the sun and doing what it should do at every given second of, you know, the day? Is it gonna be physically correct? You know, like we got a little scientific on the community about that. But what's that? Sorry,
he broke his layout.
No.
These lights, I maybe should turn some of these things off. It's like I'm looking at myself. It's like, so I look like a goddamn vampire out in the sun.
Yes.
Exposure or something.
I'm burning.
You're almost sparkling. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do, on a side note, we do take questions. The question bot is active, and that means that anything you type in, prefix it with the, and if you prefix it with the question in square brackets or Q in square brackets, then follow it up by a question, it'll get submitted, and we'll usually, you know, handle all those questions in the last block of the show.
Yeah, so all the trolls just type bracket, question, bracket, and then ask some shitty ass trolly question for DaGaimez, and we'll make him answer that fucking shit. He can be accountable for himself on this fucking show.
I will risk it. I will risk that. Right. Yes.
Well,
what do you like? What are you, I'm assuming then that there. Do you guys remember what year? What year was it when like everybody? I'm curious, like when you guys heard of Star Citizen first.
Early 2013.
Oh, you were pretty. Yeah, it was pretty early on.
I didn't back it at that time. I thought it was fucking crazy idea. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, whatever, you know. But I was a big Star Wars Galaxy fan and all this sci-fi shit. So when somebody said, "Oh, we're gonna do this sci-fi game," at that time it was really not what it is today. And I was like, meh, you know, okay, whatever. You know, Chris Roberts, fuck, who cares? He's so like fucking 30 years ago or whatever. So
I think I joined when Rico made the base shortly before that.
When was that?
Long fucking time.
2 years ago?
Yeah, early 2014.
Yeah, so that must be
about 4 years ago now.
When I joined. I don't know.
I
didn't actually.
Arena Commander wasn't out
right
yet.
Compared to
It'll just be the hangar module, so you could walk around in your hangar, check out your ships. That's it. It looked way different than it did now.
I bought in right before hangars went live. In early 2014, and when hangars went live, it was a big fucking deal. I was like, "Oh my god, look at it's pixels that I can walk around in." You could jump in these ships and you could shoot when they had the fucking firing range and the hangars and all that crazy shit. It was
right.
It was different.
What year for you only? Oh wow!
And then skipped it. Didn't like it, or I liked the idea, but you know, I don't waste money on Kickstarters usually. So when it went live from Kickstarters and further on, I joined shortly thereafter.
That's cool. I didn't even know of like game publishers doing this I'm not quite sure if there was anybody before Chris had done this. I'm sure there's probably a few, but like it was the first time stepping into like the Star Citizen arena where I ever saw like the fans themselves pay, you know, to basically make the game. And I thought that was like really interesting. That also kind of blew my mind because I was new to that. So I hit in like 2015. It was quite literally like January 2015, I remember. And when I started investigating it, it was like the more that I investigated it, the more kind of hooked I was on the idea of having like a game where you could literally escape it. Like it would do everything you'd want to, as far as like the mechanics with like trading and building colonies and strategics with war, and you know, like it was just kind of like first person. You know, it had the shooter aspect. Arrow view, wasn't it? Is that the arrow view?
The business hangar at that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We didn't have audio.
Oh, man.
Switch. That's damn.
Oh,
Yeah. I think I backed because fuck you, EA. That's why I gave Chris Roberts $15,000, because fuck you, EA. Assholes.
all of them become too corporate.
They don't like your audio?
Whose audio?
We hamsters saying something about audios.
Maybe during that last switch. I think Rellim.
Or it's because I'm so obnoxiously loud and annoying. Turn that guy down!
Everybody get your ears right up to the speakers.
Yeah, so we could just
get real close.
What's that, Norway?
Oh. So anything else new in this week? Anything specific?
I had a whiskey bourbon bacon burger from Applebee's on Saturday. It was really good. That's new. Hey, we got a gift card for Christmas. We don't go out and eat in this house, man. I got 3 kids. Chris Roberts took all my money.
Damn it, Chris, eating your steak while I have this Applebee's burger. I know you're eating filet mignon, Chris.
Yep, and I got a $7.99 burger. Hell
yeah, right. And I'm eating up Crown Chuck. Oh, so delicious. Thanks, Chris. I hope you enjoy your steak. Well, I just did a recent video that I thought, actually goes with what we're talking about right now. Like, I was interested in finding out an answer to like what the solvency of like SIG was. It wasn't like any like amazing, depth research. Like I was, going after them in their books or anything. I just generally wanted to know if, what kind of cash we're talking about when we're like the ship sales. There's so much in my head right now. I'm telling you right now, the cash number one, I'm curious as like, do they have the amounts to keep it going? And so I looked at that, and I looked at, what they reported up to 2017. And then I compared it to basically like the amount of expenses that they would have. And then, so at the end of the video, what I realized in the research was that they're making around 6 million from 2012 to 2017. They were doing about 6 million on average, towards the plus side, which, I didn't, there's a couple other, expenses you have to put against that, but like it was a general figure. So I felt kind of happy about that I did the work to like investigate like the amount of employees, the average pays, the leasing, the 5, they say 5 headquarters on Wikipedia. And I think it's interesting. They say 5 on Wikipedia. They say that Star Citizen has 5 headquarters, and the one that's not listed on the Cloud Imperium site that's listed on Wiki is a place in Derby. It's Derby. And I think Derby's in like England as well. I think Derby's near was it Manchester?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's, it's interesting that there's that kind of incongruity. I was like, well, why does Wikipedia have 5 locations and SIG has 4? When I was doing the research, I was doing all this research. And so anyway, I'm sure I'll get a lot of heat about that. Like, you don't know the tax expenses. You don't know what they paid for that couch pillow. Like,
there are no tax expenses in England. That's why
right.
That's why they keep expanding in England, because there is a huge tax incentive for them to develop video games in England right now. So,
oh really?
Yeah. That's why they. Yeah. So interesting. And then Germany is obviously where all the fucking people from Crytek were. Crytek. Fuckers. So they opened that office based around where Crytek was located. So, and I'm sure to do business in Germany is not cheap.
No, I would imagine that would not be cheap.
And there's another reason for that is that, you know, it's a very large country, a lot of people that are highly educated in the same fields around there. Plus that it's the second largest base of Star Citizen fans in the, you know, in the world. So it's a given.
And also huge blues fans. Germany loves, like, Germans love the blues.
Do they?
They do. They love American blues.
Yes,
they do.
Not that Dutch blues. It's different.
We can't have Dutch blues.
That's not even a thing, though, I don't think.
I know.
What are you talking about?
Because you guys have never been sad, so how could you even make blues music?
Right. What is this blue color? What is this?
Right.
So you want to take his video, the next segment?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Let's do the Reclaimer. Anybody watch that from ATV?
You mean...
oh, yeah.
No, not that one.
The other video with the Reclaimer in it.
No, not that one.
Oh, that one too.
This one.
This one.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
And did you see it next to the house? I mean,
the outpost.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, they did a fucking render with the characters for scale on planet, and the characters are fucking tiny. This ship is like right there, that one that he just showed. The characters are, how tall is a person? Like 1.3 meters ish. I don't know what they use for scale. 1.8 meters. So this thing is a fucking behemoth, dude. It's like a flying city.
Well, there's a reason why in ATV, I think, was shortly noted that the landing pad, the large landing pad on the side of Port Olisar used to be there for Starfarers, because they increased it. They had to add it in first because the Starfarer didn't fit on those smaller pads that they had on the sides, right? And then they introduced the Caterpillar, and they had to increase that side landing pad, such as because the Caterpillar was quite long. But now they've I think someone at ATV mentioned that too in 3.1 at the Reclaimer. They've increased the landing pad again for that side one, because the Reclaimer should now fit on it too.
I just want to be in that room that I saw where they're grinding the metal all day. I just want to watch that process all day.
Somebody of all the gameplays. Say again?
We Hamster dropped like the real life inspiration for that in the base Discord somewhere. I don't remember where it was, what channel, but where they're grinding up fucking cars and couches and all this shit. Exactly the same thing. It just eats shit.
Right.
So it's not something new. It's old technology.
Did you see the background?
But you were going to say
here?
what now? Yes.
I can't pause it. I don't think. Yeah. The yellow looks different.
Because this is 3.1 with the new yellow
pack, they said they would update some of that surface texture even further than currently. Yeah.
Right. I remember that. They said they would something about smoothing out textures and something additional about light.
Well, I've been doing like mapping some of that before, like trying to map something as far as you see when you zoom in too far to the surface from orbit. You see these weird lines of blocks.
Yes.
And I think they're grids for the surface to render. and they're not like really. They're not nicely connected to each other. They're really weird. So it definitely still needs fixing there.
Some more.
Sure. Well, they said that they're going to continue to develop that tech. Did you see that landing that fucking cocksucker pulled? And he slid
This
that
asshole.
stop. Right now, this is what I was going to say: is this is a big motherfucking ship?
Right.
And people
right.
can't fly little fucking ships right now. You know,
This guy comes sliding in like James Bond. Like, right.
And I'm watching like fucking people in Avengers fucking smash into the pillars and shit.
Right.
So the carnage that this ship is going to cause in the little tiny scope of the persistent universe as it is now is going to be immense. And what happens when that ship blows up and breaks into all kinds of little tiny pieces? Does the server melt and just crash and everybody gets booted?
I'm sure they would have tried already.
They turn it into different 3 different segments depending on the size of the ships. 3 different segments. That is doesn't matter where you kill it, it will always break up in the same fashion.
In a certain fashion. It's fantastic how big this thing is, man, and that this is actually flying around and you can put your friends inside, and it's like, dude, this is not where this is where I kind of pictured video games when I was a kid, but I like seeing it now. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy to me. Like what Junta says, like, what do you think your PC blows up too? Like, do you think after you finally right.
Your video card just starts
build
on
it,
fire.
yeah. You just got your new video card. You're like, okay, ready. I'm gonna be great on Star Citizen, and then this happens.
I know all the gameplay there is in the game that is non-combat, non-hunting, that has nothing to do with guns in general. This is the trade I really want to do.
We've been saying for a long time.
I get the trade runs, but this is fun. This is...
Yes.
Well, it's funny that earlier in the conversation you had mentioned Second Life, and I've been saying for, I don't know now, a year maybe.
I never said anything about Second Life.
This is Second Life in space. That's what this is going to turn into.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. I mean, I've been pushing for a huge player-run economy, and oh god, don't get me started. But I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of markets and numbers and trading and the whole thing. And I personally, and I probably get heat like I always do, but I love Eve's system. I love playing on the Eve market system. I think Eve's market system is top-notch, bar none, perfect player versus player mechanics when it comes to markets. I think that's exactly when I used to trade, I'd get onto a Schwab account. It was almost exactly identical as when I went into Eve and I started trading, pyrite and all the different minerals, and I would buy in bulk and sell, I'd buy low, sell high. Great mechanics, great contract system. It made it very easy for players to communicate to one another and make deals with one another. It made it super easy to take the things that you make in the game and then trade it to another actual physical, tangible human being. So I've always been big into player versus player mechanics in all ranges, not just PvP with shooting, that's fun and shit, but there's a whole nother PvP involved with economies. And I honestly think that a true demand chain, in the game with the amount of people that are playing Star Citizen right now, maybe not introduce it right away, because I think there's a lot of people who are worried that, we're going to screw it up. Oh,
we will.
Yeah, and humans will to a degree, but if it's built similarly to Eve, I think that it can be done correctly, kind of like the real markets are. I mean, we all tend to handle the real markets fairly well, and there's still corruption at certain levels, and there's still certain things, price locks, and all the you're talking about rates and your mortgage rates and all these things that make up what the market is, the currency markets, the asset markets. If we could take what we do in real life and transport it into the game for people that like that type of gameplay, there's a lot of people who like that type of gameplay. There's some people that say, oh, fuck those guys with their decimals and their zeros and that bullshit. But what's more real than having that inserted into a game and making it very real in the facts that money in itself and currencies in themselves are the reasons why a lot of times there are wars. Economically speaking, look at what we've done in the real world with the economy, and we could do the same thing in Star Citizen. And I don't think you can get that style play if it's all NPC controlled. And I got so much shit for this because I've done video after video about this, where like, great, NPCs are there to police me. I got it. Great. So that means that there's always going to be an area with an item with the same price. Okay, wait, it's dynamic. Chris is making it dynamic. Oh, say, so there's an AI, so there's an algorithm and everything's okay. So you're telling me that like 90-10 as far as the amount of NPCs versus humans in the game is going to make it so that I feel like I got a player versus player experience when it comes to economies. I'm not quite sure that that's true. I'm not quite sure.
I don't think that that's true.
The thing you have to look at is that you will have a influence on the market. You won't have control. It's not a player-driven market. It's a player influenced, and there's that's how the mechanics is in real life. It's influenced, and you have no direct control. Nobody has direct control over the markets.
You got to think of Chris Roberts as the CEO of the central bank.
Right, correct. Right.
Basically.
Well, it's an in-law government, but it's
remember what they said, that you can push against the system in real life, and the system will allow you for a certain pit to push against it. But if you push too hard, the system fights back.
Right, like crypto in China.
It's not that Chris Roberts is going to say, no, we are just going to turn it down. They just have. When they say we have
the way it is,
fix it, it's actually NPCs that are controlled. So it's not going to be an instant 1,000 or 2,000 or a million NPCs coming there to fix it. And in an instant, it's going to dedicate. The NPC all have a number. They all have a code that says, I'm in this part of the universe. I want to go there now. It's going to take a bit of time it takes to get there and then do something about it. So if a lot of people start buying stuff to go to a system where the prices is high, for instance, if you get there fast before everybody else, it makes a difference. You see what I mean? Right. But if you get there late, you better just buy a storage. It's cheaper to buy the storage, put it in hold, wait, and then sell on the next high. Right. So it's more of a dynamic system. That means and you have to remember that for the players, there's going to be a lot of let's say players that's, if the average play time is going to be 22 hours per week, there's going to be people over, there's going to be people under, way under, and they don't have time. If they're combat oriented, they don't have time to do trading. They can't possibly deal with inflation of prices.
Correct, but they could also they would also could fly as security and get paid by the same people who are trading the items, in the combat field, because I'm sure that you're going to need that. Like if you have a haul,
but that requires them to join a community, and that's what you talked about earlier. So you have to join a community, and a large one, to have that influence. Right. To push back against the system. You as a single player, it's probably not going to be measurable unless you're actually at the latest.
The lone wolves aren't going to have any impact on any gameplay whatsoever. They'll go around, like I was watching your video the other day of your Cutlass getting EMP'd and
oh my god,
by that
was great. I've never been so happy to be a victim before.
It was pretty good. But we're going to go to music break. And I would just say to close this block out, one of the things that concerns me about the ideology of the EVE economy is tying extreme real life value to the currency in the game, which so far they have done a good job of keeping that in-house with CIG, because fuck, the ships are like $350 fucking dollars. So if the currency starts to have inherent real life value,
then that's going to screw the markets with the
I
ships.
think that becomes a problem overall.
Yep. I agree.
I don't know what the balancing is there. And I don't think that CIG knows what the balancing is there either.
9-1.
Yeah, but I don't think that they understand how the system is going to play out long term. I think they have a huge overarching view of what they would like it to be, but once it's implemented, it could go fucking totally squirrely. You don't know. We might end up with Eve. We might end up with Spreadsheet
It's a
Simulator
dial.
with beautiful
Remember.
JPEGs.
It's still a dial. It's still a dial. They say, I want this number, and then suddenly it's there. That's what's missing in Eve. Eve doesn't
Did Bristol
have that.
Boy change his
Hello,
name?
Bristol Boy. Yeah, he did.
Hey, Bristol, how you doing, buddy?
A long time ago, I think, actually.
Oh, okay. He hasn't been around for a while. We should get him back on the show at some point.
No, he's been playing
Where the
PUBG
fuck
and other
you
stuff.
been? Oh, PUBG. Well,
Yeah, I just played with. He likes to punch people down to death. It's great. I love playing with Bristol. That's his move. That's his move. He just goes up and starts punching them. He's like,
Not
he doesn't
with a
care.
pan?
It's great. Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
hit
Yeah,
him
like
in
you
the
said,
face with the fan.
like you said, there's a music break coming up. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. In the meantime, if you have questions, like before, and I think, DaGaimez puts in a chat all the time. You can do that. Question in square brackets, followed by the question. Type it up in chat. At least submit it. Not right away answer, because we gather them and then we answer them in the end. So yeah, until then, we'll be back after this music. Yep.
What's it going to be? It's going to be something heavy.
Get us some
Probably
metal.
not. Oh shit, he's just going to make it.
There you go. And we're back in the roundtable. You're in the base radio.
Hello,
In the
Twitch
second
listeners.
block. Twitch and Sharpcast, whatever.
Hopefully,
right.
if you're in Chowcast listening, you're in the Twitch chat trolling, because it's important. It's called Vitamin T, Vitamin Troll. Makes you feel good
For a while.
for a while. Well, it's like dopamine; it all fades. Like when you buy a new phone, Rellim, and it makes you feel good for like a few days. Then you're like, "This is just as shitty
It's
as
not
my
even-
busted ass iPhone."
Not even near yet.
So okay, we
Okay.
talked about this before. Block number 2, which is actually the reason why I wanted DaGaimez to come and hang out with us and talk, was this fucking video that he put up. Total clickbait fucking YouTube trash video. I mean, seriously, the fucking title of the video was Star Citizen, Will It Fail? I'm like, what the fuck?
Wait, it's actually, hold on. It should be called this. I was also thinking the other title could have been Star Citizen, click this video. like the hard thing about being a content creator is to like realize the only way you're going to get more people is to sometimes put something really nice
Debate them.
around, and the packaging has to be like, you know, not so great, because it's very to people like us who are content creators, we look at that and we're like, Jesus H Christ, this is a big flopping piece of hot turd shit, you know, because like you see it, it's very obvious to us because we're creators, right? But at the same time, I feel like I'm doing it because, okay, the content in it, I just want somebody to hear it. I just want somebody to take some time to be patient enough to actually sit down and hear it, which is very hard for people to do nowadays. this thing we call listening, especially the irony, because I'm talking a lot. You see where I'm going with this?
You know how I got an idea for you. You could do a Star Citizen commentary over cat videos, and I bet you would get a fucking 1.5 million views.
I think that's my next video, Juntao. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. It will be all cats.
All cats.
I'll put a big cat on there, Star Citizen. You know, like a really nice cat with a bow on there.
Space helmet on it.
Yeah, no, good idea. and then when you click into it, instead of like all the time and the hours, like, okay, this most recent video, this is great. This most recent video took 6 hours. My kids were like, Dad, you have been on this for 6 hours. Are you insane? and I'm like, I gotta know what's going on, you know, like I was very investigative, right? So like my kids think I'm legit crazy because I'm spending 6 hours making videos in the fucking basement. You know what I mean? Like Dad's down there making his Star Citizen videos again, and I'm like, I feel like a crazy man sometimes, but like sometimes I like to connect on people, you know, like if you just take the time to listen sometimes, right? And something, just maybe a little shred of it, like something just kind of clicks and makes the hairs stand up a little bit. Like that's what I'm about. Like I just want some good conversation. I'm not looking for anything more than that. I just love good conversation to talk about like ideas, which is like people are like, oh no, if it's not technical and scientifically explained with like, you know, like, with an equation behind it, then it's not content, you know? And I think that's bullshit because I think the reason why every single one of us got involved with this is because something clicked, you know, like in the heart. I mean, the brain and the heart, you know, but I just want that to be, I want it to be my content. That's my content is, you know, I'm talking about something I think is important and I want it to be communicated in a fashion to where something about it clicked with you, like not the stupid shit thumbnails that I have to create that are like the trashiest clickbait bullshit I've ever seen in my own life and self-admittedly will say it. But the insides that's what I kind of want people to get, like something about it. So like I have to do that sometimes, Junta. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
I watched the whole goddamn video, right? Because I wanted to see.
Tell me what it is.
What this fucking trash was. I did force everybody else to watch it, so we all knew what the fuck I was talking about. And I listened to the entirety of the thing. So I would say this before we get into the conversation about it. Your theory behind how it works is accurate because it got you here because I was fucking triggered or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Right, I gotta find out what the fuck. So I immediately reached out to you when I watched it. It was like a couple days after you put it up and said, we need to fucking talk about this, right? Because and you got exactly what you wanted because you said you wanted to have a discussion about it. So now here we are, we can fucking discuss this, right?
Yes, please.
So my question is, you kind of reiterated the same point about fucking 52,000 times during the length of the video, and I want to say it was about 6 minutes.
Okay,
maybe it was longer.
Okay, and what was it that like burned you? Like what was the salt? Like what was it about it? Like the repetition of the message?
No, the repetition of the phrase. I'll paraphrase because I don't remember the phrase. CIG is to blame. You said that
CIG is to blame for what? What did I? In what context?
Well, what was the message of the video was that people were pissed off. The community was in revolt. Some shit like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is not my most popular video, by the way. Interesting enough. No,
it should be.
No, I've got videos that have thousands of views on other like Elite Dangerous. I have a great pirate guide on Elite Dangerous. I was into that. And then Star Citizen, I got a lot of earlier in my videos where I'm talking about like design, like the design elements to gaming. That's got, you know, hundreds of thousands, well, like tens of thousands of views. You know, like I did a great piece on exploration and wormholes that I you know, before all the mechanics were figured out. We were talking about that way before that came out. This particular video, I made this particular video because I hear so many people telling me, and the interesting thing, the message is this: they're not going to fail. Like, like if you listen to what I basically get to my point is like, it's not going to fail. The only thing that's going to make it fail are so many people just finally saying, you know what, I'm tired of this process. This is the first time this has been transparent to everybody. I think so. Like this transparent. The game, the design, we're seeing everything going in its stages. Like we're seeing every little thing, everything's transparent, like everything. And we're able to see it for the very first time. And there's a lot of people that aren't in that field that are going to end up getting frustrated and say, F this, I'm done, I'm out. Like people that have like Junta, like 2013 is when you invested. I've seen a lot of people from 2013 just say, okay, I'm done. Like I'm washing my hands off of this.
Now,
And
do you think that's because they're little snowflake bitches that fucking maybe bought into something that they didn't understand what they were getting involved in?
I wouldn't put it like that, but
Well,
interesting
I just did.
that you just did. But I will say this: like you have to investigate anything you put money into. Period. Like, yeah, I'm not sympathizing at all with those people. I do think that the initial people that put in that kind of money when they did not have anything written in the Kickstarter that was like specifically in regards to the refunds, I think some of those people, yes, do deserve money back if they want it. But for the most part,
the game is not today what the game was in Kickstarter. There's no question.
Yeah. There's no question.
If you are a Kickstarter backer, it's not the same. It's
2050.
Maybe Squadron 42 is still like the same idea, but it's like to the next level. So, you know, if you're impatient at that, I can understand that shit. You know, what pisses me off, and I tied this into a bunch of shit that I see, is like I troll on the Star Citizen, Ready Player One Facebook, and Star Citizen Speakeasy Facebook pages and shit. And you see these people that are like, I just bought this game. I just bought this game.
It's already wrong.
And it doesn't run. It crashes. It does this. It does that. And then I go, okay, so I go to the store and I add an item to my cart and I read the little disclaimer in the fucking cart that says the shit is in development and it's going to have bugs and it doesn't perform to our specifications, which should mean to you as a consumer
testing
it's not going to perform to your fucking specifications. But you still clicked the fucking box and said, okay, because you didn't fucking read it and you bought it anyway. And then you got in there, and the first thing you do is turn around and get on social media like every other fucking piece of trash and start trashing shit.
And that is what I think is also part of what I mean. What I heard in your video was mostly that you kept saying that there's a large group of those people that might be getting what is it called, disappointed by it. But I think what is really happening there is that there is a I don't know how big they are, but I don't think they're large for one. And I also think that small group, or that group of people that are disappointed, they're loud. They're trolling around the community. They're loud, which makes it seem like that makes it seem like that there are a lot of people who agree with them. But in fact, I think the whole majority of the community, when it comes to Star Citizen, they still believe in it. They back it.
Right.
They're frustrated.
No, sure.
There's no question that shit is broke as fuck right now.
Well, that's what we talk about here as well.
What I think,
we have to establish a premise where people come from. So where we come from, you know, on the base radio, and specifically on the roundtable, since we're talking about us here, is that it is a game. Eventually, it's still early stages, still in development, and as it is and as it should be, if they ever get it stable at this stage, they will fuck it up by adding something else again. They cannot run two different branches. They cannot. They already have, you know, when something goes live, they're already working on something else in the background. So do you really want them to take off more resources and more money to stabilize the live build so that those people who don't understand that we're there to help and test the game get their fix in so it's stable? And we've discussed this before. We won't play it until it's stable enough for us to have decent.
Now, do you all have systems that can run this according to specifications? Yes. And you guys are having issues, and are you guys?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. That's why that's what I'm saying. This is why I make the content I make.
Doesn't have issues, I think.
No, I know, but like, there's not a lot of people that I think really voice it, and they're scared to. Like, there's so many people that are actually scared to, and like what Juntao was saying, like, the game's not a game because it's in development, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, the game isn't a game right now. So for people that buy on, that think the game's a game, like Juntao said, they didn't really read what they were getting into. So you don't really want to feel too sorry for those types of people.
Yeah, there's a difference between whining and people who give the actual constructive feedback. on forums and this stuff.
Right. But I mean, like the video where I'm talking about this is I'm talking about frame rates. Like plenty of people. Now this gets into me thinking about the financial stability of SIG. In order for SIG to continue to create revenue and bring in revenue, what are they focusing on, guys? Ships. They're doing ship sales right now. So ship sales are their main source of revenue. Yeah, the partnerships, I'm sure with Intel, I'm sure all that's pretty nice. I think Intel's probably giving them like some free SSDs and some fucking hardware and shit on that.
And money,
but they probably make, I mean, you never know. I mean, you don't with the private company. That's the thing. We don't know the numbers. That's why I made that video, because I really wanted to see what it is like in general. I don't see anybody making content like that. So I'm like, I'm going to make the content like this. People can view it and judge it however they want to judge it. But I want to do this for me. And then my kids say to get out of the basement because I just spent 6 hours and I'm hungry. So then I gotta make some lunch. But you know, that's the thing, is that you know, frame rates, all of us have been having frame rate issues. The returnability, number one, is what I'm worried about, and I say it even though it's not a game. I say it because people are still experiencing it. They're still logging in. It has all the feelings of being as if I'm playing a game, but it's not really a game because you have to read, and a lot of people don't read. So we also need to think about, how are we going to continue the revenue stream? How are we going to continue this revenue stream? And I think it's going to get a little flat if they keep focusing on ship sales.
It's absolutely going to get flat.
Like, it's just going to keep going down.
Because you said you were like a 2015 backer, right?
Yeah.
I have seen since 2013 this same pattern repeat itself for CID 4 times now that I can remember.
I believe
right?
Yeah.
The funding was flat and the hanger went live, and you could actually start to visualize your pixel purchase. And funding went up, and backers came in, and then it flattened out again, and Arena Commander 0.08 went live, and fucking people went nuts and started, you know, and we're not talking about tens of millions of people like World of Warcraft or something crazy, but for a crowdfunding game, you know, huge spikes, and then it went pretty flat again until we started seeing like the planetary tech style.
Right, so like, they're introducing the hype, and then like the hype comes, you know, months more development. Oh shit, fuck, shit, wine, shit, fuck, shit, wine, shit, fuck. Okay, and now we got something new. Woo! Yeah, right. Like that's the cycle I noticed as well. I've only been doing this since 2015. I've seen it twice.
It just means that
I've seen progress.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, Rellim.
Well, it just means that the attention span of the people, like how they can be kept excited by what they play, is much shorter than the speed that the developers can bring new stuff into the game at this point.
It's the blessing and the curse of this kind of development, like we've talked about before. You know, they're trying to run a live environment while they're building the technicians.
It's crazy. This is our personal Kardashians. This is like Kardashians for geeks and nerds. We love this shit. I love this, dude. Like, this is what it is, dude. And that's why I love this like format, how you guys are doing this. And
what do they call it? The real life of Star Citizen.
It's like real life. Yeah, it's like real life of Big Brother or some shit. You know, like that. But yeah, I love watching
this shit on MTV.
It's very exciting. But I think it's important to look at like what in regards to what Rellim was saying, is that we have to worry also about them expanding as a company farther than the means for them to support themselves financially. For instance, like I did this video about them being 340 employees, and I just did this video today, and that was what I thought was the most current information. And here I found out from one of my fans that there's actually 500. Almost 500 employees. And then I was like, well, shit, that actually changes my numbers a bit. But the interesting thing is that like I'm worried about Rellim, like the actual company themselves progressing further forward and growing past what the revenue stream can bring in. So like in order for them to actually make money, they have to continually do this ship sale. And I'm worried that eventually that ship sale market
it absolutely will
start
dry
to
out.
contract.
Sure.
Yeah, because people will get tired of the same, like, oh, new
There will
ship,
be
here's my
people-
money. New ship, here's my money.
New people coming in. New people coming
Right,
in.
they're and that's the other thing too, bringing new blood in, keeping up that revenue stream. So you think only that that's what's going to happen, like that it's okay because they're going to always bring in new people to kind of keep the revenue stream up.
Silatorn also touched on this earlier in the stream or in the chat, is that as many backers as we are now, compared to what the game will bring in when the game is launched, we're nothing. We don't count. The money that's going to come in during beta or late stages of beta and in after launch and when it's gone gold and 1 year anniversary and all this stuff is going to be massive. But if you take in short term, the next big update is going to be if something is stable in 3.2 or 3.3,
Yes,
where you can do do stuff.
Yes,
and let's say they fix Arena Commander, they fix Star Marine or whatever is going to be there.
When
And
content
the next-
creators can get their hands on something stable to continue the marketing campaign.
the camera thing, etc.
Yes.
And after that, it's the first iteration that us players can get our hands on of Squadron 42. Now, of all the things that's going to bring in money,
silver bullet.
all the things going to bring in money, that's going to bring in a lot of players. And it doesn't matter if people only pay to get Squadron 42. It's still, and not the PU, it's still money. And once they played something that is relatively stable in Squadron 42, they're going to get the MMO as well.
If you can think about all the people who buy games like Assassin's Creed, all the people who buy games like Tomb Raider, and there's a lot of them. These are big fucking franchises, right? People are into just, I don't have that much time to invest in gaming to be a part of a fucking huge MMO community that's, World of Warcraft vanilla, where you had to soak all your fucking time into that game to progress. So they want to play the single player campaign games, or they want to play fucking arena style battlegrounds like PUBG or Fortnite or Tarkov or whatever, so when we're going to go to music break again, because we're over again, but I think T.O. hit it right on the head. Squadron 42 is a big fucking deal for this company's survival, and it needs to get done, and it needs to get done soon.
You're going to say this year?
It really needs to get done before Christmas, at least the first segment of it, because it's episodic and they've been working on it for like a crazy long time. So the gameplay that we saw in the holiday live stream was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't polished, but it looked pretty fucking good. Other than the fact that even the pilot of the ship couldn't hit the fucking AI, just like I can't hit the fucking AI in Arena Commander right now. So that shit still broke.
Yeah, but that stuff is still in. But if you look apart from the stuff they're already working on the side, on parallel tracks, that's fine. They're going to put that together. It's going to be working eventually. I'm not worried about stuff like that. I'm only worried about being better than everybody else done, because that's what I want. I don't want a rehash of old style AI. I want AI that are smarter, tougher, faster, feel more players, etc., that are less identifiable by their maneuvers and by the way they walk, by the way they, handle themselves on the battlefield, both in FPS and in flight. So I really want them to be. It should be hard. It should be possible. It's always possible to track AI, but it shouldn't be on first glance that's an AI. It should be harder, and that's what I think it's going to take a little bit time to develop to get it properly right, because they're using a dynamic system that reads, instead of having all over the maps they have walk line, they just have commands that reads where can I go and can't go, compared to what this rock I can't walk on it, I have to climb on it. So they will just keep if that's so. It's the AI has a much deeper way to go, and it's going to take a little while. And Squadron 42 won't be released without it. So but I'm still thinking that.
Yeah, but that's part of the reason I think why they're expanding their roles so much. You know, almost 500 people. That's a lot of fucking people to have working.
They're pushing to get. They're pushing to get Squadron 42 out. They're really. I think they're pushing hard for it. I think we'll see it soon. TM.
Yeah, right. And
the amount of people buying that game, if it's anywhere half as good as Assassin's Creed.
Well, even if a few million people buy that title, which is a conservative figure when you think about the market for games like Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider and shit, and it's sci-fi and science.
You know what's different
though? Big thing right now.
The difference is that Squadron 42 is going to have gameplay where like it's story mode, like like Wing Commander was so playable over and over again to me because there were so many branches in the mission arc, and I played Wing Commander. God, I think I played it like 10 or 15 times in solo mode just to see what every decision did. And that's what makes Squadron 42 I think is interesting, is like your decisions based your path. And I've never been much of a kind of one solo gamer. Like I like to play with other people. I like to play multiplayer type games. But like the single player that catches me are single players like Wing Commander. Privateer was the shit when they upgraded from Wing Commander Privateer, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. And that's so old school. That was like 90s. And now to see it like happen again with Squadron 42, I think is going to be really ridiculous. And I'm so into that game style. Like when Mark Hamill came into Wing Commander, what was it, 2 or 3? Is it 3? I think it was 3. And it was so funny to see like Luke Skywalker, like, and you're making decisions and you're Luke Skywalker and you're like, no, I'm not Luke Skywalker. I'm fighting cats in this one. Like I'm not a Jedi. It's like, but it put you there. It put you there, and you made those decisions, and it was a fun experience. So I'm really looking forward to Squadron 42. And the footage I saw on their YouTube channel recently that I absolutely love, that they're so transparent like they are, is awesome. Like the Squadron 42 footage I saw was just like, and these were just like the kind of like, sequences where they were showing the ships flying into, I think it was some type of station. And then they show you basically walking around and speaking with the dude from Game of Thrones. What's the hell is that? Yeah, Idris. It was an Idris, right?
Liam Cunningham.
And Liam, dude. And like Liam's there and he's like in the command thing. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm transported back to that command room from when I was a kid, man. And I remember Wing Commander, like you would go to the command room, you would get the mission, you'd fly, and you'd be like, oh God, I gotta get back to the carrier. No matter what the mission is, I know that my carrier's stranded in space and there's a shit ton of cats around that want to kill me, and I need to get back to that carrier. That was a feeling I remember as a child, man. I was like, I gotta get back to that goddamn carrier. And then I would get back, and the best part was the celebration of it was I would go into like the bar room area that Chris, designed, that the designers put into it, and you would like it would be like very simplistic, I don't know, was it 32? It was 2. I can't remember what the bit was on it, but like these characters would sit there and then you would make the decisions, and I'd be like, oh, what am I going to decide? What am I going to, like, that's what I love. That's what I love about that particular single player. So I think Squadron 42 is going to be really good.
I agree. I think it's going to be one of the best to date. And it should set the standard for games going forward as well.
I never get excited about those types of games either. Like single mode, and it's got me excited.
That's good. We should go to music break. Remember to ask questions. I just hope we don't rattle along too much.
The chat was really disappointing today. That they
what's the number like?
We're too good. That's what we are.
They're listening intently, every single word. We're at 53. Is there a record? We should set. We need to like. Know what the record is.
We've been
for this show.
We've had so many people on that sometimes they get crazy amounts of stuff.
I think if we hit
300, we would
oh shit!
We'll be back after this, and then we're the best. Yes, we answer.
Yeah, they're out there. They hear.
The record number is 560-ish.
Oh. Looks like Jiro's got a question.
Hey, welcome back. This is the Star Citizen Base Roundtable.
see Jiro's teaching you guys how to utilize the chat.
Yes, hey
Square
Jiro.
bracket, Q square bracket, followed
Jiro's
by
So
a
easy.
question. It can even be a statement that is.
Jiro's my tech. Jiro's my bro. Yeah. Jiro does all my tech work. He's like the dude from the Matrix. This guy knows like how to code. He's actually applying to SIG right now. He's applying to which one, Jiro? The LA one? I think. This guy's like serious business though, man. He does all my technical shit. Like if Jiro were here, there would be no green screen. Jiro would fix this right now. Like Jiro gets that shit done.
I could do that too, but I just tell people to do it themselves instead.
I know. I feel like I should be able to know this by now, doing as long as
It took me a lot of asking Rellim how to make this work.
Yeah, I'm like so ancient, dude. Like I miss the phones, the avocado phones that you had to dial, man. Where those at?
It's a funny story about that. Is my mom is a big techie. She's always been like a big like personal tech thing, right? First cell phones came in a fucking bag. And they were actually a big box in a bag with a corded wire to a fucking headset. And she had that shit. Imagine driving down the road and getting a phone call on what looks like a home phone in a fucking bag. Oh my God. They should put those in the ships, man.
Interstellar communication device
With a fucking rotary dial.
Fucking calling you. How far does this go? 17 parsecs.
NMT 450 and 900 and 15-watt transmitter on the phone. You couldn't have it next to your head because you would freeze your
So what do you say? What would you think if Star Citizen's development path was more like Hellion?
Question is next one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jiro. It's next blocks, bro. I can't.
It's not that far away because we're actually behind on time because the second block was good. It ran over, but yeah, block number 3 is traditionally the salty sailor section of this shit show. So say that 3 times fast.
Salty sailor shit show.
Yeah. I think 3 times fast. I could.
Yeah, and 2 more times.
Yeah. Anybody could say it once. Damn it!
I'm afraid I'll summon someone I don't like. I don't know.
You're afraid of insulting someone you don't like?
I said I'm afraid it'll summon someone I don't like.
Oh well. Fuck that guy.
Ray Dupesims.
Poor Dupes, still taking shit. So yeah, I don't know what I'm fucking salty about right now. I'm still salty over the fact that, like we were talking about in the other block, that I consistently see new people all over the place because I'm in Discords and Facebook fucking things and all this stuff, and new people are just like, it's okay to not understand what's going on with the game because it's fucking complicated, but you at least need to know what you're buying into before you fucking buy it. And then the first thing you do when you're not satisfied with your experience because you're a dumb consumer is go on Facebook and start fucking posting trash. I mean, seriously? What the fuck is wrong with people?
Trolled.
Well, that's how we founded this country, though, Juntao. Based it like dumb consumers that got us to be the America that we are today. God bless America.
That's how we grew into a superpower, by being
That's how we did it. That's our secret, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, don't copy it though. I would have to warn you. It's a very Walking Dead situation. So whose saltiness is next?
No, but
I don't know.
well, speaking of stability, though, I mean, well, no, not stability, but I mean, for new people, I think these latest iterations of the game weren't the best for new people either. It's true that this is just the worst. It's at least for gameplay wise, it's not a good time to be entering the scene because the stability is
absolutely
just crap, and I mean people. I mean, but it's still, I mean, it's much more than it used to be because people probably don't know what it used to be then. I mean, remember the launch of Star Citizen 2.0 that took how many months in PTU and over Christmas, then they launched it. They launched the PTU right before that or something, and it was, and they didn't have
2.6.3.
No, I mean 2.0.
Or 2.0.
That was before Christmas, and they launched it then, but then they just all went to holidays, and they didn't have many people on, you know, what's it called, like server duty or whatever, checking how it's running. So it went to shit almost all the time, and no updates were done back then. But I mean, well, for new people, the tutorial was a good addition back then. That was like even before 2.0, it was 1.2, 1.1, 1.3 or something. And it was just a good introduction to the whole thing, because you would just be led by this guy in your hangar, and hey, this is your ship, and you know, you would enter it and you would be taught how to enable it. You would be taught how to fly. But I mean, even if they would put that back in, it's outdated, because
the tutorial,
you now have
They'd
all
have to
these
rewrite the whole
interaction
thing.
modes, and how you enable ships is totally different. Item 2.0, blah blah blah. I mean, of course, it's not doable to redo all of that, just for a tutorial for newbies. It's gonna be done sooner or later again, but yeah, it's just unfortunate how it is.
Well, I think that CIG acknowledges this and they recognize this, because you know what we haven't seen in a little while is a free fly. They haven't pushed a free fly in this unstable environment, which they were doing like on a consistent basis there. Like, let people download the game for free and try it and buy it. And
yes, there was a tutorial. People don't even know that. Sometimes it's like, oh,
there was a tutorial.
Yeah, there was. That's actually when I kind of got involved.
People made videos of it, like a raw run through of the tutorial. It's kind of nice how it was made. It just doesn't apply anymore.
I liked it.
But I think it was more designed along the lines of being a tutorial for Squadron 42 than the Persistent Universe, because you were supposed to actually be this guy's wingman and fly with him. And he told you how to fly and how to do all that stuff. Yeah. Okay.
But that is the general role of Squadron 42. There's going to be a tutorial that's going to take you through, so you're going to be that ace pilot that are assigned to this ship, you know, to the carrier wing.
But that was nicely scripted.
So you're gonna have, a tutorial getting there before you actually fly with Mark Hamill and whatever his character is, the sergeant.
I don't think
the
he's
grumpy old man. But Squadron 42
it's too important
itself,
to teach you. It'll just be some pleb.
Yeah, so before you get there, it's going to be a tutorial how to become a Squadron 42 pilot. Squadron 42 is meant to be your introduction into the MMO. You're going to come into the MMO knowing how shit works for the most part. You know how to fire a gun, you know how to hide from enemies, you know how to reload your weapon, you know how to customize your suit, you know how to customize your ship, you know how to... at least on a basic level, you know how to fly and fight in space and interact with AI and all that stuff.
So in the chat, the Stealth DJ says, "Hi, I'm new." And he was here last week too, I remember. Because his name's in black, and I said, "Who uses a black name?" Because he's the Stealth DJ, get it? It makes sense. Right. So, my question would be, have you bought Star Citizen yet, or pledged, or donated, or whatever the fuck you want to call it? It's really irrelevant, the term. And if you have, then did you actually understand where in development the game is and what you were getting into, or did you expect to just pay your 45 or 65 or whatever the hell it was and play like a fully finished epic space sim game? That's my question for him. So we'll see if he answers. And he'll probably be, "No, I know, it's cool."
Back now.
I would love if he admitted that he actually doesn't know shit about it and bought it the way you described it, like the latter decision. Because then I'd be like, dude, that guy just walked into a landmine, didn't even know what was coming.
I don't know what I'm doing.
What the hell are you playing?
Super Mac Brothers.
What on earth?
No, this is not. Anyway,
Super Mac Brothers is a pretty cool dude. I kind of had like a little talk with him in Twitter one day. He's pretty nice, dude. And I think I started watching. Who was my first Star Citizen YouTube content creator I watched? I think it was Tactical Advance. Hello.
Yeah, he kind of like
yeah. That was like my first,
got that really
experience. Yeah, right.
British voice.
Yeah, I'm like, damn it! I wish I had that accent. I could speak like that. But yeah, I think that's what I started.
So many great content creators that just died because they couldn't
keep up with the fucking
figure
pace.
out how they were gonna. Yeah, because
I've had periods like that where like I think that's why I'm at where I'm at. I could probably be farther ahead. If I was a little bit more consistent with the content. I've been doing it lately. Just because I'm really getting back into the swing. I had my first planetary landing experience and I was like smiling like a kid, man. I was so happy. It was Daymar and it was actually Jiru who's in the chat right now. And we took his constellation and it was just one hell of a fun experience. It's like crazy, but this is the Salt episode. So fuck you, Jiru.
Asshole.
yeah.
We're having fun together. How dare you?
Yeah, right.
Shit. No, it really was. I mean, it's very short-lived, unfortunately. But like the first time you go to like Yala and sit there and look at the rings and watch the fucking sunrise,
it's crazy cool, man.
Crazy.
It is. It really is.
But it's not enough content, unfortunately.
No, it isn't. To keep people situated. I don't even know if it has to do with so much about the content as it does with like what we were talking about earlier, which is like the optimization, the performance. I think you're going to hear optimization like you heard fidelity. I think optimization is going to be the new fidelity, basically, because they're at the stage where if I really truly believe this, to keep up the revenue so that they can keep growing as a company, they're going to have to focus on the fact that they have to somehow get a stable experience, even though it's not a game. Because I really think the return factor is very important, and it's awfully overlooked by game publishers. Is like, okay, they played it, they were fascinated. Are they coming back? Are they logging back into the game? And that's why I think the next couple videos I'm going to make are going to focus on like the revenue, because that's my salt. My salt is I'm getting tired of the ship sales. It's so transparent. 2015 now, so I'm probably at an area you guys were at 2 years ago, because I'm starting to understand this process. Like you guys got it in 2013. You've seen 4 cycles, Juntao. So now like I've gone through 2 cycles. Now I'm starting to see this pattern more clearly, and I'm worried that, you know, in order to get the new blood that the Only was talking about, like the new blood into the game, is to make sure that there is a baseline, and the baseline I think has to be playability.
Absolutely.
And I think that, like, Jiru and I actually had this discussion the other day in our Discord. We were talking about, you know, the longevity of the game after the fact that it comes out. You know, there's obviously going to be like so many different features in the game. It's going to be amazing. And I hate saying when the game comes out. Like this, I honestly think this is going to be in development after quote unquote it's finalized. I'm so tired of the, like, you know, is this finalized? Is this, you know, like
Squadron 42 is going to come out and release, but the persistent thing is going to be an ongoing development.
Yeah, an ongoing thing, and they'll make a Squadron 4, Squadron 752. Like, I think, you know what I mean, right? And now Mark Hamill is 120 years old. He's really the old man. But yeah, like I think that playability, though, the actual return factor as far as stability and is very important, and you're going to hear tons about that. That's my salt. My salt is that, like, I want them to be successful, and I know in order for them to contain, to not contain, but to keep the current flux of new blood in, I feel like they really have to focus on the return factor. Like, they have to focus on the return factor. Great, give me another ship. Great, give me another ship. Not so great. Give me another ship. I don't know, that's pretty cool. I'll buy it. And then you give me another ship, like, and then you go through this cycle. And then finally, I think where I got to now 2 years into this is like, I don't want ships. I get what you're doing. You need the money. I support the dream and the belief, but now give me a return factor. Let me be like, and for me, even though my frame rate, my system's definitely great. I've got a system that can handle it above and beyond, but I still have issues with the frame rates. I went to Noobifier's site. I went to Board Gamer's site. I followed the tutorial. I went through the thing. I was step by step. It still didn't work. Go back into Star Citizen. Still didn't work. And I was like, you know what? Nobody's saying this shit. I appreciate them for doing that. I think that's awesome. But like, it didn't work for me. So God damn it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really upset. And the thing is like, I have the system. And I think there's a good percentage of people out there that have the system. I mean, all three of you guys were saying this. The frame rates are important, and the issue where they talked about this was all kind of like, we're going to throw. It was an Around the Verse about 2 Around the Verses ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And they basically threw out the dessert first. Here's the ships, yummy new ships, so good. And then they had the technicals, which I understood, but I would imagine that a lot of people didn't understand what in the F they were talking about. And the thing is it's the performance, it's the optimization. I had Jiro tell me in the chat, he's like, DG, optimization doesn't happen until the end of the fucking game, you moron. And I was like, what? I'm like, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that about game design. And so I was like, well, can they do anything? Like, it's like when you're at the hospital and you're looking at somebody you really love. It's like, can you do anything? Like, please.
So when you take a breath, I can explain that.
Okay.
That you are getting something. Not the full story, but something for 3.1. In 3.1, you get you're going to get the partial system where they're trying to alleviate some of the load on your client and on the server and the data going back and forth. But you're not getting the full. You're not getting that until 3.2.
Maybe.
Binary calling is set to 3.2.
Don't tell it like it's gospel, because it could be 3.4. We don't know.
Nothing
when it's fucking ready, it'll be fucking ready. But, yeah.
But you're getting they're working on they're spending money and resources on a temporary solution for 3.1.
In terms of what the only like the
serialized something, I don't remember.
Serialized variable calling, so you won't get as much data transmission back.
Gotcha. Okay, and
so
that's
you won't need to know that there's a Starfarer spawning on fucking Olisar if you're.
Yeah, right. I heard that.
And that's where a lot of that shit is coming from. So these are definitely things that they need to solve.
So taking those assets out basically will give you better frame rates.
It should help the server perform better and communicate better with your client.
That makes sense.
Not bottleneck your CPU so much.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. That's cool.
The temporary solution is that you're always going to load everything when it's spawned, but then it gets a number, and if you're not close enough to it, it's gonna be loaded in your memory, but it's gonna be forgotten until it can be called again. And once it's forgotten, it's not gonna transfer any data back and forth between the server and the client. That's the temporary solution, because binary calling is not gonna be ready for 3.1.
It's not ready, yeah.
Yeah, so but I think it will be ready for. I think it will be ready, because I think they will push hard to get it ready for.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
And that's one of the things that's going to be a massive load for everybody, because instead of it having to be loaded, now it doesn't get loaded until you're close to it. So that in itself will be a massive influx on server performance. That on itself will not fix everything that's going around you and you slowing down, because a lot of people are spawning a lot of reclaimers in your vicinity. That's where fuck, my brain is not working today.
You're talking about the fix for that, the network bind calling?
No, we're talking about
object container streaming. Oh well,
server meshing.
That we've had numerous discussions about that. There are plenty of other games that are fucking doing it right now. They just Star Citizen obviously has to recreate everything because Dual Universe isn't sharing their technology with them. Plus, they don't have quite the same thing going on here, but it's definitely doable. So what's really cool is if a reclaimer spawns out in the pad and you're in Alisar, you can be in one server and that reclaimer can be in another server, and the two servers know what's going on, but your client doesn't need to know what's going on with that reclaimer or in that reclaimer. So it just doesn't fucking get updated that way. So you can still, you know, and when they can get it dynamically shaped or however they're going to build the architecture, it should help. Is it going to solve everything? No. I'm playing games that are like $100 games. Assassin's Creed Origins right now is a big thing for me. And there's so many little fucking funky glitches in it and shit that you're like, wow, that's $100 game.
Wow, that's
yeah,
great.
but
it's still really good.
Many.
Well,
it's not that many. You pay attention to
when the
games.
fuck can they make characters actually stand on top of the terrain instead of like the first 3 inches of their feet sinking into the terrain? What the fuck is up with that?
Was that?
And I see it and I'm like, in Assassin's Creed Origins, for sure, the terrain will be here and the foot will be just below it. So it looks like the guy is sinking, but he's not because he's standing on fucking rock. So these are all the things that CIG has to deal with too, because if companies, all gaming companies deal with this fucking shit. So
I feel like that space is like the mythical space where all video games go to die. Like that, that one particular, like, what is this space?
I think, well, there's a difference though between the in the past when games have done that server meshing thing, and the difference between most like RPGs like World of Warcraft or EVE Online is that EVE is just it's a click. What do you call it? Like it's a type of game, you know, where you click actions. You know,
the point and click game.
It's a point and click. What it is, it's action based. So you tell the ship to do that. You tell the ship to do this. You tell the ship to do this, which means that the client server information data stream is quite low because all it really has it only has to you know transfer the orders back and forth. But with Star Citizen, everything is there's so much more information that has to be transferred between clients and server that the server meshing is much more complicated than just because you know there's so much information to do.
But you remember what they said: we cannot have this game, we can't have this MMO without server meshing.
Oh fuck no!
There's no way. And that's they've said it on the video. Period.
You can have 50-man instances, and everybody can be sharded. And you can make each star system only contain 50 clients, and each star system have multiple instances like they do in World of Warcraft, where each dungeon is its own instance. But nobody wants that. This is a part of the fucking problem with Star Citizen, is it's pushing the edge of the envelope of technology for gaming, and they're going past it, and they're finding out that there's fucking quicksand on the other side of that wall. That's why there was a fucking wall there, because other people probably looked at it and said, nah, that's too much. That's like, you know, the same thing we were talking about Elon Musk earlier. People told that guy, you can't fucking do it. You cannot do it. And he landed rockets. He shot him the fuck up into the stratosphere, and then they landed. So it's possible. And
my dad
applies.
He would have shit himself if he saw the Falcon Heavy go up and then like those rocket boosters land back down exactly where they started off. My dad would have absolutely shit himself if he were still alive, man. I was like thinking about that, watching it, like, damn, that's crazy. Reusable, like reusable. You could basically, it's like the airline system. Why not? You know what I mean? It's great.
Yeah. But the point of that is that people are sitting there saying this can't be done, that can't be done.
It can be. It can be done. It definitely can be done. Like,
in the will.
Have to believe. Have to fucking believe. That's why I do the videos I do, because it really comes down to belief. Like, how many people are going to believe in
time?
Time too, right? Time is the other variable. Yes. Well, okay, we got 3 variables.
Time and money is based on
my point.
It's based on belief.
Right.
Belief is necessary to get
I like
money.
the only. I like him. Yeah.
Money is necessary for time.
Yep. There are plenty of variables. You are right. The only I am incorrect. But I will say this. You know, like it's an initial spark. It's something that you can't calculate. It's something you can't describe. That is the reason why people got involved in anything that they believe in, and that's the thing is like, as long as you believe and as long as you have enough people that believe for a long duration of time with really deep pockets, I think what you're going to find is the game will be very successful. Now, if there are not a lot of people that believe in it and they have no pockets anyway, nobody cares about them. Now let's go into another class of people. What about the class of people? No, I'm just teasing. But like, that's what I'm saying is like, you have to have a spark. You have to have a spark to believe in this, but you also have to have the people that have the means in which to make it possible with the financial shit. You have to. It's like anything. Like people never think about the technical shit. Like when we do this show, the first time on the show, guys, by the way, like people don't understand. Most people don't understand the amount of technical. You should see what Rellim was doing. Like starting before the show, like getting everything, new persons in here, lots of new technical stuff. People don't think about the technicals behind it, you know. People don't think about what it takes.
Shiny at the end, like you said.
They want to see the shiny, right? They want to see the shiny at the end,
which is why ship sales work so well for this fucking company.
It works until like, you know, like imagine to watch what we just did to start up with the same way that Around the Verse does, you know, like with that transparency, you know what I mean? Like what if there's like a couple the base episodes on the round table episodes where like people got involved with the actual technicals? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know those people that are watching that, they really fucking believe in you guys. You know what I mean? Like they're the ones who are like, hey, you know, like I'm seeing what's going on here. Look at Rellim. What?
He's showing you all his tech. He's very proud of his tech.
Yes, there you go. Rellim's super tech man. Look at that, dude.
Him and Pegasus fucking make all of this shit work.
MIDI board.
Oh man. Oh, I want one of those. I need one of those.
But here's the point, because we'll break out of this real quick so we can get in. There's only a few questions, so if you guys have questions, you can ask questions still. You probably don't, because I think we explained everything pretty fucking thoroughly. If you want to ask a question like, why is Juntao such an asshole and why does he say fuck so much, you know, whatever, fuck you.
Mature rated.
Don't be a fucking pussy. That's the point of life. When the fucking going gets tough, the tough get going, and the fucking weak fall off the wagon. Risks. And that's what that is the point of the video that you did. We were talking about that earlier, the Star Citizen Will It Fail video. It will fail if you are all a bunch of fucking pussies.
If there's so many people that actually go pussy, and actually, if they go pussy, the game itself will die. There's too much pussy. There's not enough dick.
Oh my god! But you know, that's the thing. People backed Star Citizen. Why? Because they thought it was going to be another generic game, just like every other fucking generic game.
Yeah, but come on, Juntao. You know, there's some people. Listen, you know, there's some people that like actually went into this and put the money in and expected it right now. You know, there's a lot percentage of people like the people that didn't fucking read, the people that don't know. I'm not concerned about them. I'm concerned about the people that have the resources, the people that bought this and are in this, and the people that have the computer to run this game and it's not playable. Those are people that are out there, and those people need a voice. Those people actually need a voice because they're, you know what? They believe just as much as we do. You know, they actually believe in just as much as we do. What they're trying to get, though, they want a pleasurable experience. That's kind of important. That's kind of important to me. Like, you know, like it's important to me that people who are logging in, even though the game's in development, even though the game's not a game yet, you know, it's important for the path forward for this game to continue forward, to be positive in the right direction, that people have a good experience, period. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Right. That is my point. The only thing, this dude does not fucking shut up. And Rellim is having a jam.
I'm just
he moved his webcam and now he can't get it right.
Rellim's all raving
That's
over
the only
there.
thing I don't have, because I was waiting for these stupid faceware cams that never come out. Now,
He's still using like a phone or something with IP webcam.
No,
because
it's
he's waiting for
cheap
webcam.
crap.
He has the same cheap crap as I do.
I got on the soapbox, Jiru. I'm sorry, bro. Jiru's tell me I got.
Do we do music or not? We're at 46.
I don't know if we
Let's
have
do a
to
jingle.
even. Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you
Dude, I
play
like jingles.
some? You don't like jingles?
Oh,
You could say, hi.
Be careful with the Spanish guitar music. On here,
Get her on the stream.
yeah. Get back outside, woman.
Jesus Christ, this thing glares like hell. Like it's like this thing's lying here.
What happened to your lightsaber?
But this is like that's what I was talking about. I have the DVD with the video
geez.
clips. The video
It's very, very shiny.
It is, yeah.
That's like some of my thumbnails. I actually.
Pretty nice video clips because he was really good at doing those. Also with what's her name? Kate.
Hey TP, how you doing, bro?
Katie,
Welcome to the basement.
Katy Perry.
Kate Bush. Kate.
Like George Bush's daughter?
No, the singer from England.
Oh, yeah, British. Okay, that's why I don't know her.
Kate Bush. Yeah, that's right. That was correct, right?
So do we have any questions?
Oh yeah. All of a sudden, they just came to life. And
Yeah,
started
I saw that.
asking
I saw the
Like the
questions.
last second,
What?
I don't know.
They're just pouring in now.
Kate Bush. Yeah. See.
You want to read them, Gento?
Oh, I suppose that I can. If I can see that far, that monitor's pretty far away.
Like you're holding something from NRA.
Yeah. Just come and take it. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, you gonna do it?
Wasn't? Oh well. Yeah.
Come on, go ahead.
Because you
run this fucking show. God damn it!
I run the show. I'll do the show. Question from Glico YT: when will the FPS be fixed for Star Citizen?
So
that is an excellent question.
3.1 and
then broken in 3.2, and then fixed in 3.3.
Binary calling possibly in 3.2.
Freaking win questions.
Yes, but the problem with that is, like we were talking about earlier, is that if they implement something new that breaks shit, then performance tends to get fucked up. You know, and it's obvious that that's what happened with 3.0 is I played Arena Commander and Star Marine a lot and Persistent Universe stuff in 2.6.3 a lot. And you just can't, or I can't. I mean, people can, I'm not exactly sure how they stomach it, but like, I saw somebody post something about 73 minutes to get to wave 14 in Vandal Swarm.
What?
73. Yeah. And it took me.
They don't take damage with.
Right.
Back in 1.3, we did Vandal Swarm runs in 15 waves in 13 minutes or something.
13 minutes, yeah.
We did a record. We tried to see how fast we could do it. Some people got 11 minutes, something like that.
So I don't know exactly. We talked about this the other day. What exactly broke that? I'm not sure. Why it's so fucked up, but it's seriously fucked up. So, and that's the nature of what they're doing. Yeah,
and changed.
So yeah, soon. All the answers to when questions are soon.
What's going to change dramatically is right now, anything happened on the server, everybody's fucked, and it crashes, and the client crashes. So a little bit later, when they get 3. Binary calling in, is that most likely it's going to be a localized clusterfuck of low FPS, and everybody else on the server isn't that affected. So hopefully 3.2.
Chips
hopefully
and Gray.
3.2, which should be July.
Yeah.
Q2, yeah, end of Q2. So
Chips and Gray asks, I'm excited about the concept of fire extinguishers and repair kits for engineers and ships. Was recently a passenger on DG's ship. Oh, the game ship, and when we were attacked, I noticed the ship was changed more damaged. What are your thoughts on interactivity for passengers, such as an engineer's role?
It's a thing that's planned.
Yeah, it's gonna be in it. It's gonna be in it.
You must have. You must see the. What was it? When did they show us some of the interiors for that new ship? The turtle. The
Terrapin and all the plugins
and all the maintenance panels, doors and modules that they have in interiors, and all the things you can open and swap out. Supposedly that we didn't just show that, but that's going to be what's going to be happening.
Sure, we have not seen yet a character pull a fire extinguisher off the wall and put out a fire yet, but I would assume that it's definitely doable because it happens in other games, so it will most likely happen in this game.
Hand fire extinguishers.
It's
maybe.
Remember, they're adding it as a feature for killing time while you're flying for God knows how long to the next destination. So you will actually have to maintenance your ship to
diagnostics.
Extend the lifespan of the components.
So Games is going to be like flying along and shit, and he's going to get a little indicator blinking on his console that says your avionics unit is failing, or your life support system is failing. I hope you brought another one, and you'll have to tell Chips, get the fuck up, man. Put the bong down and get the new avionics and the life support.
It's funny you said that, dude. We were playing, and he was bed. I'm like, dude, can you please get into like a gunner spot, or like can you be a co-pilot? He's like laying in the bed, and then the ship started to get hit, and it's going on fire, and Chips rushes back. He's like, where's the fire? He's from England. He's like, where's the bloody fire extinguisher? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it was a fun time.
And that's what's going to make this game great for a lot of people, is those moments that you're really going to remember. You remember that one time?
Right.
When we crashed and when we were stranded out there, and Johnny had to come pick us up, and it took him an hour and a half to find us, and we almost ran out of oxygen. That was great.
I even had fun on the missioning. Like I just landed on a what's Yellow? I just landed on the dark side of Yellow, which was like a crazy experience. And it was so great. Like just the basic mission, to go out and find the data recorder and bring it back was just like, it was a fun time for me. People on the stream were chilling out, watching it, just amazed by the look,
It's definitely beautiful. For those of you, you can't see everything that's going on right now, but currently in our conference call, Pegasus is playing. He's flying his caterpillar to the dark side of some fucking unknown celestial body. And it's fucking stunning. The game is definitely beautiful. Functional. And
I have a low FPS. I have like 15 to 20. Sometimes I peak above, but I still find ways to immerse myself in the game. Some of my crew, like, oh, I'm not getting in there because it's broken and shit. I'm like, dude, okay, listen, I got 15 and 20 and I'm still having relatively good experiences here, So I land on a planet, I see this stuff, I'm seeing the rings. I mean, my God, man, some of that shit just takes my breath away, man.
I honestly
think amazing.
If they can get a stable 30 and they can get ESP fixed, or whatever has space combat so jacked up right now fixed, you'll see a huge difference. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to plug Reddit, but Malagos did a really good post on Reddit about he's a big arena commander guy, right? Renegade Squadron people or whatever. I think he's still in Renegade anyway. At the top of the game in Arena Commander, there were over 1,500 people with over 100 hours in Arena Commander, and now there's like 60 or something like that since the current. So the people aren't playing it like they were.
Right. They're getting drawn in by the PU, which is good. It's a good thing.
Okay.
But I'm playing it because it's broken.
Well,
you think that? Well, they're doing that.
Arena Commander's broken as hell.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Jibru Uizado asks, what would you think if Star Citizen development path was more like Hellion, where they have 2 or 3 ships, and they are trying more to add functionality instead of a diverse set of assets. No, it was too empty. 2 or 3 ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not enough ships. We need more ships.
The reason why you see so many ships being developed and pushed through the pipeline and not in quite the consistent order that you would like, i.e. Bonu merchantmen or Carrack owners, you're fucked because they're not a part of the Squadron 42 asset cluster. So if a ship gets fast-tracked through to be finished and flight ready, it is because it is needed for Squadron 42, and anything that is Squadron 42 related directly imports into Star Citizen. Therefore, you get to access it and fucking break it, blow it up, do whatever fun shit you want to do with it. But that's why you see that. If you only had 3 ships in Squadron 42, how fun would that game be? That is why the Reclaimer is fucking almost finished. We watched the holiday live stream. There was a Reclaimer reclaiming when they flew through the coil and confronted the lady that was salvaging, right? It's a game asset. It has to be done. You will see this consistently until Squadron 42 Episode 1 releases, where ships where you don't understand why the fuck they're building the F8 Lightning right now is because it's part of that game. And that game is considerably more important for CIG than the Persistent Universe is at this time. Good answer.
I think also that, I mean, we touched on it earlier, like the whole funding thing and how some people might be like, oh, stop it with the ship concept sales already. But there's one thing that really just need to remember here is that if you're building a big universe like this with so much versatility, so much space, so much things you might be able to do in the game, so much roles you might be able to play, more ships is always good. So I would, of course, they need to keep making more ships.
If we all had to drive Fiats, I would have a problem in real life.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. And by the way, Hamster Pegasus did die because I'm watching him respawn.
From Jiro again, do you think that CIG should have a video explaining the fact that they are still in development before being able to purchase the first package?
That is a great fucking idea.
Put it on the sale page, you mean? And people
and right
still don't
before
click on it.
You must watch the entirety of this video before you are allowed to make a pledge.
Oh, God, no,
and once you watch it once, it puts a token on your... Fuck that. You can force anybody to do anything you want.
Oh,
in
yeah,
this
sure.
world.
I mean, technically, they're already covered legally because you still have to
but that's not the point.
And
It's
this
just
sort of stuff.
The point is that people don't read, and we're in a visual society now where people are more likely to watch.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. We're more likely to watch a cat video than we are to read the terms of a license that we're about ready to sign.
Cat video out next week. Thanks, Juntao, for the great idea.
Cat video with the
stay license. Stay tuned. There will be a Star Citizen cat video.
I think it's a great idea.
Well, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Cat people.
Will they do it? They will probably not do it. But I think that's a good idea if you had, like, you know, a reputable developer that people in the community understand who that person is and has a good voice and a good relationship with the community in general, to sit down for like a 30-second video, or even Aaron Roberts or something, but he talks a little fast. So maybe not Aaron Roberts, but somebody.
Hey, thank you for backing. Please be aware.
You know, please be aware that everything is fucked and it will continue to be fucked until we unfuck it. So if you're not agreeing to being fucked for the foreseeable future, please don't purchase our product at this time. We will send you an email when we unfuck it.
I should clip that for a jingle or something.
Hell yeah.
Please unfuck it.
That's a good idea.
From Mayonnaise, how high of a rank do you think your character will be able to achieve through promotions in Squadron 42? Do you think we will be able to command our own capital ship in future installments of Squadron 42?
I don't know. I would assume maybe like captain. Not...
You couldn't get too high up.
Captain.
Yeah, you couldn't get too high up.
Because then they don't send the big wigs out to go get involved in really hairy shit, which makes the gameplay fun. The commanders just sit in the back.
Right. I mean, in theory, if your org was large enough, then honestly, you could set up your own system if you want to be king shit, and then set up your organization. But I think he's
specifically talking about Squadron 42.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
Story-driven campaign, and I would think that your rank won't ever get really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe major at that, because
major
get involved in combat scenarios. But if you get too high, you'll never be involved in a combat scenario. So I don't know what fun.
Well, I remember Maniac got to major, and I was pissed off. I get to fucking major, like in Wing Commander. He was the dude that Biff played from fucking Back to the Future on Wing Commander 3. Remember that dude? Like if you replay that game, Biff was fucking Maniac. And I was like, I remember back then thinking like, this is horrible casting. Why the fuck did they put Biff as Maniac, dude?
Hello, McFly.
Right, like don't put Biff as Maniac. Maniac's Maniac, dude. Maniac was a crazy motherfucker, and he was always doing shit in the missions we were pissed off about. And then Maniac got major, and I said, "Damn you! How in the hell did Maniac get major?"
Payouts.
Or not.
Next.
Scythil asks, will the hangar actually fit the Reclaimer?
In its current state, no.
That's actually...
Did they say they were making it bigger, I think?
Well, that's remember when earlier I said they increased the landing pad sizes in 3.1. They told that on ATV, I think, is showing it just to fit the Reclaimer. Once again, they need to increase it to fit the Reclaimer, just like they did with the Cat. But when the hangar hasn't been updated since like ages. The last time they did that was with they increased the size for the not deluxe. It's called Revel in York, the white one.
The Revel in York,
because that was the only one that that was the one you had when you bought the Starfarer. So that was the one that needed to fit the Starfarer as well before it was even flyable, I think. And that was a long time, some time ago. And since then, they haven't really.
They did
made an
address
effort to put ships into
certain size of ships will not be in your hangar, but will be in an adjacent communal hangar where your ship will be when you enter. And remember the technology they've now implemented in terms of this bigger cities and city planets, and where they have, even if it's just a small city, they have infinite space compared to what we can access. And underground spaces, so your ship probably will not be if it's too big, in your own hangar. It will be accessible in some sort of larger communal hangar.
It'll be so much fun to watch the videos of people trying to park that fucking behemoth underground.
Well, like anything like the polished
professional pilots there.
But I gotta say this real quick, right? Geo, get money. Where you been, man?
Who?
Oh, cool, Geo.
Where have you been? Like, seriously. And when are you going to come fucking hang out with us and talk shit about Star Citizen, dude? I mean, seriously. I haven't seen him in forever.
What?
Maybe got a new job. Geo, get money.
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember? Yeah.
No.
He was never on our show. He needs to come on our show and talk to us because he's a cool cat. Waiting for 3.1, like everybody else.
And when you get 3.1, you're going to be waiting for 3.2.
Waiting for 3.2. Hell yeah.
From Bang
That's
Chow.
why we're here.
If there is a particular ship you'd want to have reworked, Tom, what would it be and why? What wee hamster? I'm sorry, I don't remember. It's.
I want a third revision of the Cutlass.
Didn't Geo get like on Star Hangar at some point? Wasn't he on Star Hangar there? Yeah, he was. I believe. But anyways, a third revision. You want another revision of the Cutlass? They got a green one now.
Please.
I
heard about this. I'm on Twitter. I was watching this video, and I was like, I watched that. I was like, huh, interesting. Got a couple 100,000 for that green color.
It's up today. It's almost 500,000 for the St. Patrick's.
No
today.
shit.
Yeah. By changing the tint of the fucking ship.
That disgusts the shit out of me. I don't even want to. I won't even talk. That fucking disgusts the shit out of me. Give me validity back into the game. Don't give me the fucking news that makes me want to say fuck this game. Give me the news that's like we didn't make the green one. Please. I will pay you to not make the green one.
Irish were so excited that they all went out and bought.
I'm Irish, okay? I had a fucking Irish stream the other night. I'll tell you what. Fuck that, man. I'm so pissed that they did that with the green. So Get the fuck out of here, fucking A. Colors. Colors. What is this, Fortnite? The fuck? Get some skins and shit.
M50. Rework? It needs to, actually, when you think about it, because the interior cockpit is just a bunch of placeholder screens and stuff. And it needs to be like all the other ones are.
Every ship needs a rework, unfortunately.
But particularly because of the whole MFDs and the cockpit things, interaction modes with all the screens. That's almost every
As they change one thing, they automatically make like 1,000 things irrelevant once they implement one new idea. It's crazy. So going back to the other question from Jiru about the 2 to 3 ships. In that specific instance, that would make more sense because they wouldn't have to go back and rework so many fucking assets while they're trying to figure out how to actually build a ship, how to actually build a UI and all this stuff, because that takes a lot of time. But I guess the ship guys aren't doing anything, so they can rework all day long. We're still waiting for Germany to figure out how to make the engine work.
You hear that, Germans? Junta is yelling at you.
Well, they're the smartest people in the company by far. Those guys at Foundry 42 DE, dude. Especially the cat that we saw speaking on the way that game communication works during the Around the Verse about optimization. And
you mean the guy that talked without no tone and completely flat? He was
completely flat. He was totally reading a script, and he was just describing how games function and punctuation. You know how game code actually works, which I was
that had to be a nightmare episode for them. You know that had to be a nightmare episode for every one of those guys involved. Like, could you imagine the meeting? Could you imagine the meeting? Chris comes in. Okay, guys, here's what we have to do. We have to, explain the entire process and every variable.
And they're like, oh, well, this is going on in this thread, and then it gets bumped up to over here, and it gets processed by this, and I'm like, and then it gets rendered into this frame, so frame 1, and all of this stuff is happening in like microseconds. You're like, what the fuck?
How much money do you want to bet that they tried to get him to explain it to somebody else so they could do it on?
He was totally reading a script. I don't know. He probably wrote the script, and
most of them were. I thought the bald dude. I thought the bald dude knew what he was talking about. But like, they all obviously know what they're talking about. But the thing is like sometimes they got to present shit differently on Around the Verse. I'm glad they went into details, but at the same time, like that was way over a lot of people's heads. That was way over a lot of people's heads watching that one.
It's necessary to be over somebody's head. So
it's good. No, it's good. There needs to be that.
Every once in a while, games.
Right.
Every once in a while, you gotta let people know you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So shut up. And that's what they did. Look at how complicated this is. No, do you think you could do it, Mr. Armchair Developer? Come the fuck on over to Germany and show me how to code an engine. Or sit in the back and shut up.
This is what I should have watched. Actually, this is what I should have watched on Around the Verse. I'd have been a little bit more passionate about it if the developers were explaining it to me in the way Jude just explained it
to me. It's way easier. Bang Chow. Is it possible to have 2 or multiple ships synchronized into a singular quantum jump? Right now? No.
They said no.
No, I don't think
they said no.
How about jump points then?
How about just docking a ship? That would be cool. They're working on it.
Wasn't there something? I remember that was something that was talked about, like jump points, sharing a jump point.
Yeah, so they've talked about grouping up so that you, so that you get into the same location, relative location when you come out of in a new system. Otherwise, you're going to be spread out all over the place, completely randomly. And that's they addressed that specific point and said that we're supporting convoys. They have.
We're not talking about physically linking two ships together. We're talking about having a bunch of ships sync to each other, and the lead ship quantums the rest of the ship's quantum. Then yes, they did state that was going to be a thing. I thought he meant that coupling two ships together so one could carry another.
No.
Is that still going to be a feature in the game? I remember back when the Cutlass had the porthole on the bottom, and they were thinking about linking ships up.
For now, it's out.
They removed that. And
it's out.
They're thinking of
back. For now, it's out. But they said that they have to make it work, because how in the fuck do you get like a Hull E to dock with a space station? It has to be able to dock.
So they're talking about docking to objects, free floating, etc., and staying attached. So we're not talking about docking to space station. So you will be able to dock to space station. I mean, that technology, if they can fix server meshing, they can fix binary calling, but can't fix docking, where something is wrong here, right? So if they say they can't do it, that's bullshit. But I think it's going to be very taxing to do it on a free-floating object, but to a fixed station, it's something else.
Well, you know what they got to do,
too, right? Like with some, they sometimes say no, this can't be done, and then a month later they
you have to
can
set
do it anyway.
the expectation, Rellim. That's what I was going to say. Is they have to start learning how to set expectations for the community, because you can't promise up here and deliver down here. It's the fucking art of the deal, right? You promised like somewhere in the middle, and you delivered just above it.
Yeah.
Always. That's how product development fucking works with everything. You don't tell people all the bells and whistles that you're going to have, because when they get more than they expect, then they're excited. Then they make a YouTube video that doesn't say, will it fail? It says, how great this fucking shit is. Can you believe they pulled this nonsense off? Unbelievable. Chris Roberts is a fucking magic wand weaving game creator from fucking the 7th dimension.
Also has a
waved
cat.
his wand, and 20 years later.
It leads to another question, though.
Don't forget the cats.
A dual question to all of you, to everybody, including myself. Where do you stand right now in terms of you got into the game and you've seen what they can deliver so far, how pretty it looks, how good the mechanics that do work, the feature that do works are when they are implemented? And what does that tell you of the future of the game release, Juntel? Do they deliver on their promises or above?
Well beyond. From my perspective, I mean, is it taking longer than I would like it to take? Yes, I've said it before. It's taking longer than everybody would like it to take. But from what I expected to what I see, it's well exceeded my expectations so far.
And where does it take you in expectation for the release, let's say somewhere in beta when they go live?
Well, they continuously just make shit better. And when you think it looks good and it looks good enough, then they make it look better and they make it perform better. And they fucking constantly, this is part of the cycle that's taken so long, though, is they're fixing things and finding new ways to do things. So that's why I haven't tripped yet, man. I got a lot of money in this motherfucker. I mean, a lot of money. I believed in the project. So.
And I do think that part of all that reiteration is now really just like, for instance, with the ship systems and most of how they design ships, the whole pipeline pretty much worked out now, and they're not going to redo the pipeline most of it, because that would just be weird. So they're pretty much just handling how to develop a game, and they're standardizing how to easily fill the game with content, and that's just hopefully once that is mostly done, they can start filling up the game much faster with new systems and new ships. That's the whole deal. What they've been doing. And on the other hand, like, yeah, this is exactly what Gentile said for me too. Is like, I remember first getting a Freelancer Miss, and then it was in the hangar, and I thought, oh my god, that's a so cool ship. But when you look at that old Freelancer model right now, holy crap! It's just like the inside interior in the cockpit is just like a mirrored from itself on the left side. Even the textures that are on the cockpit and stuff like that are mirrored on the other side, and the text is also mirrored. It just shows you kind of like how quickly they modeled that stuff back then, and how they didn't really realize like how to modularly build it and how to make it work in the end game. They just made it, and now the Freelancer looks a lot different and a lot better. It's a really a MISC ship now. It's, yeah.
Let me put that into like a real life comparison for you really quick, right? How many rockets blew up on the pad for Elon Musk before he was successful?
Quite a lot.
And how many millions and millions and millions of dollars did it cost him to actually be successful? Now, we're not talking about shit blowing up or people dying or anything like that, because it's a video game, but it's all about iteration. They built a rocket, they thought it would work, it didn't work. They built another rocket that was different than the first rocket, better, and it didn't work. On the fourth try, they finally said, wow, this fucking works. Crazy. Same thing with ships, same thing with game systems, same thing with everything throughout fucking history. So stands to reason.
What's your thought?
I like how far the game development, the 2 years I've been a backer. I mean, like, when I first started, my very first Star Citizen video, this is shameful. My very first Star Citizen video was a Star Citizen review. Like, I knew shit. Like, I knew anything. And it's, why am I giving a review, you know? But I think it was the excitement of being involved in the projects. And back then in 2015, it was a hangar. I was fine with it. I was like, this is cool. Like, I know what's going to happen. Like, I know what's coming down the pipe. I'm waiting for it. And I was fine with just like scoping it out. Like, I went in the hangar. So you guys were waiting for the hangar. You know what I mean? Like, I came in, I got the hangar. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I got the hangar, and this is pretty cool. Like, Arena Commander, all this shit. But like, really what it was just seeing my ship there in the hangar. That was kind of like, I was like, okay, that's badass. You know, I'm really happy with it. But now to see it come to this point where I'm landing on planets, come on, give me a break. Like, they're not going to do this. I mean, this is kind of what I say to a lot of the audience that hits me is like, if you honestly think that people who hired famous actors and actresses, you know, to get to the point that where they're at right now with the studios, and you've seen the growth and you've seen the development of the game, it might not be as fast as you want, like Juntao said, it might not be as fucking fast as you want, but the thing is they've got so much momentum. I think what I'm focused on right now is I just want them to keep up that momentum. I want them not to just fall into a stale pattern and think that, you know, the ship sales alone are just going to be the guiding light. I think that needs to be looked at personally. But I like where the game's going. I really like where the game's going, and I'm completely happy knowing that I can wait an additional 4 years, 5 years. And even if it is going beyond that, what the fuck does it matter? Like, if this is the game that truly is going to be built to break the fucking stale template, like, of all these goddamn games. Juntao.
I don't know that guy in chat.
I'm going too spacey, sorry. But that basically,
no, it wasn't about you.
Oh, okay. I'm getting too cloudy up in here.
In the clouds.
So there you go. That's the answer. Done.
We got another question just in from Fire Snug. Do you feel the game would get more players to spend more money if the ships for sale would have lifetime warranty, lifetime insurance? Oh, this has been
initially
something we touched on so many times before. LTI.
Montoya just did a video on this not that long ago, right? And he was going off about the green ships and shit. But because there is so much fucked up butthurt and misinterpretation of what LTI actually is.
Well, there was. I think that's passed.
And
now.
Nubifier has done a video on this as well that I didn't agree with him at the time. And then now that I think about it, the more that I think about it, will it upset people that bought in early that thought, oh, if I buy this ship in concept, then I get LTI. Okay.
But it's still
LTI doesn't fucking mean anything. Because it's just hull insurance, and CIG consistently says base hull insurance is going to be cheap as fuck. It's going to be covering your cargo, covering your add-ons, covering your military grade components, covering your weapons, all the upgrades that you do. That's where the insurance cost is supposed to come in, right? So what would be the harm in saying, okay, you know what? I would hate to say it. CIG, take a step back and say, okay, we made a mistake with this marketing ploy. Everybody who purchases ships up to beta will have lifetime and hull insurance. And
all
if you purchase
concept ships already have, actually, though.
Right.
Just
But then the
concept.
big butthurt came because the Phoenix sold in the St. Patrick's Day sale with lifetime insurance because it's a limited ship and they only offer 250. So I get the mindset that CIG was going at.
No,
it's a
back then
limited ship.
Wasn't it also just back then because they wanted to, you know, to make sure that at least the gray market wasn't as powerful as it was? Because it was getting crazy over there.
They made LTI
sales.
a thing, and then they tell you that LTI isn't a thing. They used LTI as a ploy to get you to fucking spend money and then tell you
it's a golden
LTI
finish,
really doesn't mean anything. It's exactly. So what's the fucking difference?
Look at it this way. If you fly, let's say you fly an M50 or you fly a adventure cargo ship and you use that to get money in the game, the basic hull insurance for a non-LTI big ass ship is going to be a lot of money. So you can't take it for the fuel even with that low ship, but the insurance alone you can't pay to take it out because you risk losing it. So I think it's somewhere in there where LTI does matter, specifically if you have more than starter ships and have multiple ships. That's where LTI comes in, and it means something. It means less hassle. It means less time spending to pay for, because the basic hull insurance of a big ass ship is going to be way expensive compared to the basic hull insurance of a small ship.
Sure.
So initially in the game start, it, you know, at some point it will matter. But yeah, the thing is that they have kind of switched a little bit, you know, from the very get-go, and you know they have gone completely and said that, you know, you buy this with 3 months insurance, it's going to take a long time for you to work out this because it's going to be in-game spend time and all that stuff, right? So it's going to take you a long time to get through 3 months, and if you have 48 months insurance or, you know, something like that on your ship, you're not going to be able to use up that insurance, hull insurance. So LTI kind of doesn't matter, and it is just ease of mind.
Or they created the perception that it's an ease of mind. So that's what I was saying. It was just a marketing ploy to get you some stuff. So this cat's going on in chat, right? And I can't ignore it, right? So I want to address a few things because I've been reading your comments. Thank you for being here, by the way. You don't get a heart, but thank you for being here because it gives me a good opportunity to address some things that you said. Issues, sad, depressed, divorced, like that Juntao guy. Honestly, you have no idea what you're talking about because I've been married for 20 plus years. I have 3 kids. I have a full-time job. Talking about a dead game that's the most popular Star Citizen stream with 50 viewers. You know what I didn't do is I didn't get on Twitch to be popular. I got on Twitch to tell you, fuck off. And what was the other one? A 40-year-old guy vaping. Ha ha ha! I'll tell you what vaping did for me, son. I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day for 20 years, and now I don't. I coughed up brown shit every morning. from smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every day for 20 years. And now I don't. Now I don't feel like I'm dying every day. So thank you.
So take that, 12-year-old. We don't know who
what it is. I mean, it's older me, so it's fine. That's part of being on the internet.
That's what I live for. Like, these are the comments I love. Like, on my get these comments. That's why I told you earlier in the show. I love that shit. Like, I actually know that when that shit's happening, that's the best I can be. Like, if I get more troll comments, I know that I'm being the best person that I can be. It's like a fuel.
You're not doing your job if somebody's triggered over who you are. Because he's triggered over the hat more than he is anything, but he can't say anything about that.
Can we go now? Yeah.
Second Amendment. Let's talk about it and go. Let's talk about Second Amendment.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when you start doing that. For the Europeans are like, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking about weapons.
Yeah,
you know, my son. No shit. My son was in a school shooting. I have another channel. It's called WTFFTW, and I made a video about, you know, my son being in this fucking school shooting experience, and they taped off the building. I couldn't get my son for 4 hours. You want to talk about crazy? Crazy, dude.
That is crazy. Anyway,
we need
to go.
On that note,
quickly, let's go.
Before Twitch bans us for talking about
right. No, I don't do that. Anyway,
too much politics.
No, before Rico bans us. Because we don't do that shit here.
We don't?
No. Oh,
I think you guys.
If you wanted to go make a politics, politics-centered show, then maybe you could. But at least that keeps the rest of them out.
To be internet superstars, right? That's what everybody comes to Twitch for: is to be an internet superstar instead of just being a guy who likes to hang out with other guys or girls or whatever that have similar interests and just talk shit and let everybody else participate and talk.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. This is cool as shit.
Well.
I'm having a good time, man. Like, this is actually what I enjoy doing. Shooting the shit with a bunch of fucking guys about like shit that we like together. Next, we're gonna piss. Next episode, we're gonna fucking piss in the campfire, toast marshmallows, and.
Oh, it was great having you here too. Like, yeah,
thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
That's what I really like to do on this show. Yeah, just find something to clash about, and then we clash.
I love it. This is a great format. I think it's cool. I dig it.
I just have to say I'm glad Junta invited you, but when I watched your video, I was like,
worried?
what the fuck? What
is this guy on about? Right. This guy's way too spiritual. I don't know what the fuck I'm going through. Different fucking dimensions. Shit.
So anyway, if let's see, we have a whole the media command in Twitch that you can find. That's what we have just linked anyway. You can find DaGaimez there at Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. He's found all your links. You know, he can do that. He's just like, and he finds everything.
Look at the green screen. Look at the technical. I got technical. Like, you can't believe I can find anybody.
And that guy was just banned anyway. So.
Yeah,
really? My mouse
because of this show. Thanks, guys.
Poor bastard.
You made it. Almost made it to the end of the show now.
I almost made it. You guys ruined my. No, I loved it here.
We have our website, TheBase.sc, Twitter, TheBase Radio, Facebook, TheBase Radio, Twitch, TheBase Radio. Look at that. We're Base Radio everywhere. YouTube, TheBase Radio, Discord.TheBase.sc is where we hang out on our Discord. You just click that, you can invite
that's a good point that you said that. Geo, you should hop in that Discord and get in touch with us because I'd like to talk to you.
He's in Discord, isn't he not?
He's not in our Discord.
What are you talking about? He's in our Discord right now. Oh, you mean that other guy, Geo?
Geo Get Money. Yeah,
I thought you were talking about
he was on a bunch of podcasts back in the day, and he was making YouTube videos. And he was the ultimate YouTube troll of all the snowflakes. I loved his videos because he was like such a harsh proponent of Star Citizen, telling dissenters to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, that was the first Geo video I saw. The first Geo video I saw, he was pissed off about Star Citizen. I remember that.
Okay, yeah. So then click that link. Yeah, that's where we hang out nowadays. The Discord is what does that. If for some reason you missed some of the show, it will be on YouTube later. couple of days or something. It depends. That's all.
You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna talk my wife into coming on the show and
one day just
and
like
talking
Rico.
about what it's like to be the wife of a Star Citizen backer.
Oh boy, that might not be good.
How much she cheats on me because I'm doing a podcast.
That's funny actually because it was Dupsums that was a CitizenCon at one of those years, and he had these funny questions for the backers, and one of them was like, if like does your spouse know how much you spend on Star Citizen? And most of them actually just answered like, no. They know they know I've spent some money, but don't know how much. Just like the men don't know how much the wife spends on shoes and stuff like that. It's like
there's some things you just don't want to share with your spouse. There's some things you should absolutely share with your spouse that you don't.
Computer gear, really. When you
she knows how much I spent on all of this.
A new system.
She's not happy. When the $1,000 1080 Ti showed up, I got in big trouble. Big trouble.
Anyway, yeah, it's expensive stuff. Anyway, well, that's it really. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the chat, the questions, engaging, very nice. Thank you for DaGaimez. You can find him in the links that were posted earlier. Maybe he'll be back. We'll see. It was so fun.
I like to be back if you guys don't ban me.
Well, Ben. But until then, we'll see you all next week on Sunday, another roundtable. You can find our schedule on the website for the other shows, like some musical shows, and we have metal, we have chill music, we have EDM, we have other random stuff. It's full of shit. So see you then.
Bye bye. Full of shit.
You all. It's full of shit. It's full of stuff. It's very diverse here, though.
Just like this show, yeah, very diverse and full of shit. Exactly.
See ya, everybody. Goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.